Speaking with Kevin Kraft, independent candidate for Kelowna, Lake Country, and Coldstream riding. Kevin, welcome to the race. Why did you decide to throw your hat in the ring as a true independent?
As a true independent, yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a very interesting couple of weeks with regards to the BC United's folding and kind of the fallout of where everyone landed. I can say that the locals of some ridings are not pleased with some of the current candidates and how things shuffled out. And so, looking at the roles I hold and my current role with the regional district, a lot of the physical area is also within that riding as well. I'm locally rooted. I grew up in the area for many, many years. And, I really think that local, unaffiliated, no party ties, no strings attached option is really the best option for some of the ridings in the Okanagan. And so I wanted to offer that voice and that opportunity for the residents in the area.
So personally, where do you land? We have the NDP and the Green Party who are left of center. Mm-hmm. We have the BC Conservatives right of center. How far right is certainly being discussed during the campaign. You have the former BC United candidates right of center. Where do you fall?
I would also say I'm in the right of center camp. I think there's a lot of policy and a lot of situations that I grew up as a raised conservative, essentially in a conservative household. Some traditional norms and traditional views, but we got to remember I'm also a millennial, and we were kind of raised different. And I guess the age is also going to play a factor in this election, because I think we approach things differently, or more of a collaborative approach, really understanding what both sides are offering and kind of come up with solutions. So for example, like sitting at UBCM in some meetings or listening to the leaders talk, there's that void or question that a lot of people have. It's like, okay, what are we actually going to do to get in the same room and get some traction on some of these issues? Right, municipalities and local officials are in their second year of their terms, and kind of we've seen the reports, we've seen the studies, we've seen the impacts of fire, we've seen emergency response, we've seen all of these things. We also have seen some of our where we need to improve or what we can do to be better. And other than reports and studies, it's like, let's take that step further. And the only way to do that is really focus on collaboration between the two sides. And I really think there's a unique opportunity with the independents, especially the independents in the Okanagan, to represent not necessarily both sides, but really be the glue that provides some traction moving forward. And so it's a very hopeful opportunity. It's an unprecedented situation. It would make some history if a group of independents held the sway of power. But at the same time, with the two options we have, it's a unique opportunity to hold either side accountable with what they're promising or what they're throwing out there here in election season.
As a true independent, with political experience, you're the vice chair of the RDCO. You've also thrown your hat in the ring for the Lake Country, Kelowna Lake Country, Monashee riding federally for the Conservatives. Do you feel that maybe you're sort of muddying the waters a little bit by adding an extra independent voice into this riding? There's already, I believe Pavneet Singh is already running as an unaffiliated independent. Do you feel maybe you're muddying the waters a little bit, or no?
Well, two things. So I did throw my hat in the ring for the Vernon Lake Country Monashee riding, which is the new federal riding for the federal Conservatives. And there's a fantastic group of nominees in that race. Arguably, I was one of the only nominees or nominee hopefuls that was from a more rural setting and outside of the Vernon Centre, which is the dominant municipality in that riding. But again, the pivot and shift of gears, I made a promise that I wanted to get into a form of higher level government where I can make the most impact and really focus on families like mine, the struggle. My family, we're in the midst of all of these issues, and I really think that that provincial level is that sweet spot where I can assist impacting those daily lives in a positive way. So that was the reason for the pivot. The other comment around muddying the waters is interesting. I see it in a few ways. First of all, as an unaffiliated independent, not part of the BC United fallout, I am the only candidate in that riding with some political experience. And with that being said, I think it can provide some comfort knowing that you have a independent candidate who's in the issues, who knows the issues, who's dealt with some of the legislative changes over the last 2 years, and being involved in that community from a very early age. But muddying the waters, I don't necessarily like that comment because, you talk about vote split and stuff. And in my opinion about vote split at this moment is that, we're supposed to be celebrating democracy and opportunity and offering the constituents their ability to vote. So to limit that opportunity perhaps lends itself to crafting election results and really, is it worth it or not to lose your voice, but you're stuck with an option without, a true local representation? Like, I have some problems with that, right? And so there's two other things. One is that there are a lot of people who are not happy with either side. I won't necessarily be pulling from one side or the other. I will be pulling from both at the same time. There's also people who've made it clear that they're potentially abstaining from this election, thinking that their vote doesn't count or they're not really interested. And I hope to offer that opportunity to bring them back and increase voter count, as well as engage the younger demographic who maybe doesn't know how to get involved or what politics really means, or maybe looking for that option that is a potential independent candidate. So I don't think vote split is kind of the right comment anymore. I think we've moved past that, especially with United being out of the picture. And I'm
It's all about options.
yeah, and I'm a sports guy, right? And I think the Conservative Party, took a 1-yard handoff on the end zone and fumbled, and so there's a bit of a muddle with the ball underneath, and we don't know where it's going to land right now. And so everyone's kind of watching what's going on. And like I said, there's going to be a couple Hail Marys that are thrown from either side, and you could look at even the recent rent and mortgage rebate from the Conservative side of things. And as a fiscal conservative, I have concerns with the ideas around that policy. So it's interesting.
You've door knocked, presumably. What are you hearing, and what's your top issue for your riding?
My top issue for my riding, man, there's so many, and I guess that's the detriment of being local, is there's so many that I care about. I have young kids. My first is attending Rutland Middle. Rutland Middle is a huge local issue for the Rutland residents. It's the catchment for all of my residents in Ellison. It's the catchment for some of Black Mountain, and Joe Rich, I believe, and Black Mountain go into Spring Valley, which is also an excellent school because I went there. But Rutland Middle School is a huge, huge issue. And I don't trust either party to address that particular need in a way that an independent could. Freshwater and freshwater management is a huge issue. We have the opportunity to increase our retention and increase our storage in our upper elevation reservoirs, which I think should be acted on immediately concerning our growth in both population, but our agricultural needs and potentially ecological needs moving forward to ensure that we have water flowing all year round, supporting the entire system. So, there may be some ideas that I do support the Greens with their initiatives because it's true, without a healthy environment, we're lost. But I also think there's opportunity in investment, industry, technology, and advancing that lends itself to achieving all of those desires. But right now, I think we're looking at at some of these issues in a wrong way, because we're limiting our ability to act and react because of cost of living is high. We can't invest in education, or we can't really move forward in supporting industries like forestry that really should be kind of some of the backbones of this province. And so we have woodlots in my area. We have all kinds of issues going on. But if I were really to tackle one, first and foremost, it would be to win the riding as an independent and be that kind of relentless voice at the different ministries when they hold office, and saying, hey, remember that problem that I have in Ellison? Remember that problem that we have in Coldstream? Remember that problem that we have in Oyama? We still need to fix it. And so really pushing the ability to engage with ministers as that local rep is a huge opportunity.
As we wrap this up, I want to give you an opportunity, as I do with all the candidates, to look in the camera, talk to directly to your constituents. On October 19th, why should Kelowna Lake Country Coldstream voters put a check mark beside Kevin Kraft's name?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, my website is coming very soon. My signage is up very soon, and I look forward to the conversations, the meeting, and the support coming. The response has been absolutely humbling, exciting, motivating for me. And so I truthfully hope that you show up on voting day, really look at really look at the candidates that are on that page, and really think about who can represent you best. Arguably, both candidates that are in place right now running against are not locally rooted, and we have a lot of issues to tackle. So you have the choice to really make that decision. So vote Kevin Kraft and vote independent. Appreciate it.
Kevin Kraft, true independent candidate for Kelowna Lake Country Coldstream, the new addition to the riding. Good luck on October 19th.
Thank you, Wayne. Thanks for having me.